You are listening to the Park Flyer Podcast, where we discuss our RC adventures.
Welcome to the Park Flyer Podcast, where we discuss the ups and downs of the new RC Flyer. Join your hosts, Michael and Jay, as they take flight at the park. Now on with the show.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Park Flyer Podcast. I'm Michael from Arizona. With me always are my good friends.
Jay from the hills of Texas.
And Shannon G in Mesa AZ.
And we'd like to welcome you once again. We are back in the studio. Thank goodness. We had a really great time at the Arizona Electric Festival. If you were watching our episode from last week, we were out there having a good time. It was a really great weather and a lot of really good airplanes. And Jay, we gave you a shout out. We didn't mean to miss you for this one. AK Mike was with us, but we understand you had some family issues. So, but you missed a good time.
I figured I did, but I got to catch up with it today. Here I am in Texas, and it's a whopping 22 degrees outside. So I got my thermals on.
Thermals on.
Thermals,
Very
what are
nice.
those?
Yeah.
Thermals are illegal in the city of Mesa and Phoenix, by the way.
Yeah, I won't tell everybody I'm in shorts and my AEF shirt. I don't know.
Yeah,
if you can see
nice
that.
shirt.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Nice shirt.
that's a nice looking shirt there.
It is a nice looking shirt. I'm pretty excited.
I would have had some AEF thermals if they would have made some. But
there we go. Well,
We had
actually,
sweatshirts.
we did have a sweatshirt. Yeah, I bought a sweatshirt actually. I bought the last one, I think. Actually,
Yes, you did. Yeah.
And so he had one left. I was like, I'll take it. So it was pretty good. So, I take it you were able to listen to the first podcast. What did you think? You were missing all the good stuff.
yeah, well, typical. That always happens whenever you can't go. Either that or you guys would have won some fantastic prizes, or somebody super famous would have came, and or something would have happened. Gold fell from the sky. I don't know. But
I know, right?
That is my life.
I like the gold falling from the sky thing.
Yeah,
that would be a good one.
That'd be
Would have
real
been nice. Shannon and I would have been collecting. I'd have been mowing elbowing some people running out there. Well, in this episode, believe it or not, I know Wyatt joined us. Wyatt's been on the podcast once or twice. Young
Right.
man that's been doing really, really great. He and his dad came out, and they brought a lot of airplanes. And then we were able to actually hook up with his buddy Matt. And in case you didn't know, Matt is another young RC pilot who's also into photography. So the photos that you saw of my Cessna last podcast on the background photo on our website, and this episode's is also going to be a Cessna photo. He was able to take both of those pictures.
Wow. Nice.
So he actually volunteered to kind of go through his little catalog and see if he could find some photos for me and email them to me, and yeah, I would love to use them. But I'm going to give him kudos. He's a great photographer. He was out there taking pictures all the time, and really got some great photos of the Arizona Electric Festival. So I'm looking forward to seeing some of those and using some of those for our podcast. It was really nice of him to volunteer that, so we appreciate him.
Well, that's really good.
Yeah,
Because
it
you
was
guys
nice.
never take any photos.
Well, that's not
Still
necessarily
do.
true with us. We take photos. We may not send them to you, but we're taking photos. I got a crap ton of them on my phone.
And on the Facebook page, there's tons of photos that other people took.
This is true.
We've got the video. Obviously, they got the video in the background that Claude Hopkins shot with they had little cameras all over the place, and sadly, one of his cameras was the other guy that helped him out had it on selfie mode, so it was him walking around with the camera the whole time. He's like, "Oh, we can't really use that." Didn't even know.
And this is a great B-roll of me walking around.
Yeah, hey.
That's funny.
But I mean, there's so many pictures. I know Barrett Hawkhouse also photographer.
Barrett
takes a lot of
takes
pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of the guys take pictures. So, but Matt and Mike also. Mike is Matt. Mike is Matt's dad, and
Right.
he got he's been really supportive of Matt and getting him out there going along with Wyatt. And the other thing that was really cool is they both got to be on the local news.
That's
on
right.
that Sunday that happened after the event. We had one of the other channels come out and they did a story, and we got to focus on the kids, and that was so cool. It was Wyatt, it was Matt, and then another kid, Elliot. He's one of my good friend Craig's nephews, and he's a really good pilot as well. and it just to them that was like one of the greatest days of their lives because they were gotten to fly their airplanes on TV and then talk about it.
Right.
So I was, and I had, I have a little bit in there, to talk about my event, but I was more than glad to see the kids be the focal point.
So this is, I mean, just from, the little bit that I got to see from the outside and checking in with you guys, or like you said, looking on Facebook and such, that was the most kids I've seen there like in a long time.
Oh, you definitely
come out. Participate, not just being there. I mean, there's usually when we have the crowd and stuff, there's a bunch of kids and stuff in there, but
right,
for participating and being on the field and flying and stuff, this is the most kids I've seen ever.
Yeah,
right.
we're making a big push to get more young people and families into the club, and if we can keep that momentum going, that just helps them, because these kids, they want a career in aviation, and
right,
we need to help foster that. It's not exactly the same, but definitely we all started playing with models when we were kids, and look where we are.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm
about to retire. That's
doing
a podcast. Looking at my retirement.
Look at my addiction.
I know, right? I'm broke. That's where
but I mean, it's just they definitely have some direction. They're not out causing trouble. They're causing trouble. It's at the field, but kind of in a good way. So
yeah. And actually, believe it or not, I think we mentioned on one of the other podcasts that there was the Winter Warbirds. There were like 14 father-son teams that came out for the photos. So
of course,
nice. Yeah,
some were but they're a lot older father-sons. But
no, they were. Some of them were older father and sons. But the fact remains that there's teams out there,
yes,
and it's very exciting to see, and it's good to have some in our little area to see it happen. And believe it or not, I got to give kudos to Wyatt, because he is very outspoken about it. He's super excited about being on our podcast, and it helps him recruit as well. And I won't ruin the kind of the surprise there, but those two kind of go to school together, and they kind of hooked up about it. So I'll let them tell that story.
Yep.
But it is, and Jay's right, that this was a lot of kids, and it's the fact that those kids are bringing more kids. That's really what's going to cause the increase. But I know the AMA is focusing on it. I know that we are focusing on it. I know that getting the younger generation involved is really what's going to make this hobby stick around. So we're happy about that.
I was going to say, because I know that in our former events, one of the big sticklers to me was, there was very few kids that were coming out, and it just seemed like, I don't know, they're too interested either looking down at their phones or not even going outside. And, where, like you said, if somebody showed up with a dirt bike by my house, you'd be like, oh man, that is so cool. You got a dirt bike, or you got this or that.
Yeah.
And you say, I even remember my own kids, going, hey, you want to do blah, blah, blah. And they're just like, well, I guess the show's not on, or we're not going to be, on the computer or playing Nintendo.
Right.
And I'm just like, yeah, my gosh, I would have died for this. And these guys are like, where there's nothing else to do, I guess we could do that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, it is a different world. I mean, my mom used to boot us out of the house as soon as we were awake. She'd come get us out of bed and say, get outside, come back when the street lights come on, So we were out, in the field chasing cows, riding bikes, dirt bikes, whatever, and we'd come back. But it is a little bit different world. And I would think that having these kids get involved like this, it gives them something to do. But both of the young men that we have on this podcast coming up here, we'll cut over to them, but both of them were very interested in doing aviation as a career, and this is a good way to get them involved. So how about we cut over? We're going to jump out back to the field and catch up with Wyatt and Matt, and listen to those guys for a second. And when we get done with them, we'll be right back.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Park Flyer Podcast. I'm here with Wyatt and Matt, and this is a continuation of the Arizona Electric Festival. I kind of grabbed these two guys. It's always good to have young men in the hobby, and you guys have been out there flying all day. And Wyatt, we'll start with you. You've been on the podcast before. Welcome back.
Yeah, thank you.
Wyatt had an episode where you joined us in the studio to kind of told us how you got started. That was kind of cool. What'd you bring today? What are you flying?
So we brought a bunch of bigger EDFs. Like we brought last year at this festival, I won Best Jet with the FMS Sukhoi 27. I brought that again.
Cool.
And been ripping it up with that. And some bigger Like there's the F-18 90 millimeter. Sorry,
Yeah.
that thing's a beast. Just a bunch of bigger EDFs mainly, some
Yeah.
bigger World War II stuff.
That's very cool. You got to participate in the gaggles. That was pretty fun.
Yep.
There. Your dad is out flying some stuff too, I think, right? Yeah.
I think he is.
He might be out there flying as well. You brought a lot of airplanes though. What all did you bring?
A lot.
A lot, man. Every time I turn around, you got a new airplane going out. What's your favorite one that you bought so far?
It has to be the F-18 or the Sukhoi.
Yeah.
Both of those planes are just so spot on. So they're just perfect,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah. I was talking to your dad actually. He was talking about we were watching you fly the F-18, and he kind of chuckled and he said, "This is Wyatt's most calm flight. Usually you're ripping it up, doing inverted passes and stuff, and it was pretty benign. Just kind of fly around the pattern and land." So he was like, "I wonder if there's something not going right," but I think Wyatt was just taking it easy, right?
I haven't flown in 3 weeks.
There you go. So he was just testing it out. You flew the B-17 as well.
I did.
So that was pretty cool
Yeah.
during the World War II gaggle. That was kind of neat.
It's once it's in the air, it's fun. On
Yeah.
the ground, it's a different story.
It is. It's a little taxi
Oh my
crazy,
God.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So, well, Matt, welcome to the podcast. It's good to have you here. How did you get involved in the RC world?
Actually, Wyatt, he's the one who got me into it.
Wyatt, good for you.
We were at school one day,
Yeah.
and I was just talking to him because it's been a while.
Sure.
He brought his I think it was
Yeah,
a 64
But a
millimeter
six-
to
the Freewing 64 millimeter F-16 is like a show and tell thing in science.
Oh,
class.
no kidding. That is awesome.
Yeah, he did that. He was talking to me. He showed videos of it, like with like an FPV camera or whatever it was.
Right.
And he's like, "You should come out to Basin." Forgot the numbers.
It's 115.
Yeah.
115,
But
yeah.
a little divot in the ground that there's a nice club out there that we all fly. We used to fly on Sundays, but our planes got too big, so
Yeah.
We're
So now
here
you got to
now.
come to a club to do it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's no problem. And then, so did you get airplanes, or are you flying this weekend? What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm flying this weekend. I got a couple here. Probably, I think it was about 5. Right
Wow.
now.
Your dad's flying right now.
He
Oh
is?
yeah.
What's he
Your
flying?
dad's flying.
Cessna.
Oh, he's out there
okay.
flying a Cessna. See, so your dad's flying too, huh?
He's more of a scale guy.
Oh, what do you like to fly?
Jets.
Jets?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of guys like to fly jets because of the speed, or
It's awesome.
yeah. Just
I
fun?
like to go fast.
Yeah.
So.
Who doesn't? That's like
Not
my.
me. The
I do that for a
adrenaline.
living. I go fast for a living.
I know. Did you tell him what you do?
I don't know. I fly professionally, so I'm
Yeah,
an airline
yeah, I
guy.
heard
But
about
yeah,
that.
I'm sure I have to go to work. I'm actually on vacation this month, so I'm out doing RC stuff pretty much all month. So we attended something last weekend, and then I got the electric festival this end. But so Wyatt got into he got you into it how long ago? How long have you been flying?
Coming up to 2 years.
Two,
in-
2 years, 2
probably.
years.
In about
He
a
started
month.
in like 5th
Okay.
grade,
No
Yeah.
kidding.
so
Fifth
it's been
grade?
over 2 years.
Holy smokes, man! You started early, and now you're just ripping it up like you've been doing it forever, huh?
Yeah, it's
We were
awesome.
talking with one of the other guys over there, and we basically told him that you kids make us all look bad, and he said it's normal when you're born with a binky in one hand and a transmitter in the other. I thought that was pretty funny
yeah.
because we've last week I think we had I think I'd mentioned it before, but we had a picture opportunity with a bunch of father and sons and father daughters, kind of family photos with all these guys that have flown, and yeah, some of these kids have been flying since they were like,
You're not wrong.
3 or 4
I
years
started
old.
with RC cars with my dad when I was super young.
Really?
We'd stay out,
Yeah.
hobby action, racing.
Yeah, and it's fun. I mean, some guys like it, some guys don't, though, right? I mean, what do you like about the hobby, Matt? Is there anything that jumps out at you that you love to go fast, but is there anything else that's going on?
Yeah, just in general, like how they look, how
Yeah.
they perform.
It stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
No, it's still recording.
Okay.
So, he thought he thought our recording stopped. So do you build them, or you just buy kits, or I mean, have you gotten
So-
into the building yet?
So me and my dad, we
Mhm.
put them together.
Mhm.
We always just, if we ever get a new plane or anything, we always just get on it maybe the weekend before,
Okay.
and just if we win something or if we just buy it for fun,
Yeah.
we'll just do it together.
No kidding. Well, that's awesome. It gives you something to do with your dad.
Yeah.
Now, you guys are local. I assume you're, here. And is this your first Arizona Electric Festival? Or
first one flying in it.
Okay,
Yeah.
in it. Okay, good.
I flew last year.
Yeah. So, do you like it? Is
Yeah.
so far?
Yeah, I
So
like
far,
it.
so
Love it.
good, huh? You love it. It is kind of good. What'd you think about the gaggles and all the noon show stuff?
The gaggles are funny, especially the UMX ones.
Yes.
Just seeing everyone almost hit each other because they don't know where they are.
Yep.
It's high pressure when you have one of everything and you want to fly in all of them.
That's true.
I had like 3 planes lined up in one bay.
Yeah.
It was just one through the other.
Yeah, it's tough when you bring a lot of stuff and you're kind of trying to mix it up and you're constantly switching your radios and kind of doing that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun. So, what's been the best airplane you've seen here so far?
Seen?
Yeah, something that just jumps out that you just like, man, that's awesome.
Oof, I don't know. There's a lot of good ones here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
I'd say
if you had to narrow it down, give me a couple.
Well, I do like Wyatt's Sukhoi
Oh,
and
yeah,
his
those are
F-18.
nice.
Those
Yeah.
things are awesome.
Yeah, but you're really close to those. Did you walk down the flight line and see anything else?
Yeah, that big Cessna out there.
The big one?
Yeah, the big one.
Oh yeah, that's mine. Yeah, that always gets. That's a 3-time award winner.
Really?
Yeah, I'm
Hard to
not,
believe.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
It was here last year, right?
Yes, it was here last year. We won. Last year we won the contest directors award, and then the previous owner, he won a couple of contest directors awards with it. So it flies great. It's really a good flyer.
Yeah, that's
It's
awesome.
always
Looks
fun.
like it.
Yeah, it's funny though. When he first, I was the first one to fly it. Actually, I made it for him, and he had 14 cells on that thing.
Really?
And when I hammered the throttle on it, because I thought I was going to need to take off with full throttle, that thing just went skyward, man. I was just like, whoa, So I flew it like at a third throttle all the way around, just because it was just like, I go, wow, this thing is way overpowered.
What
so
batteries do you use to do that?
I now use 12 cells. So
Okay.
and everything you saw here, even my takeoff was only at half throttle. So I
Wow.
took off at half throttle and then I flew around at about a quarter. It is way overpowered. It could probably do on 10 cells maybe, but the 12 cells, allowed me to make it more scale.
Yeah.
But he had 7 cells. He had two 7 cells.
That's
he
what
used
I
in
was
there.
assuming he did,
Mhm.
but
Yeah. And actually, when I got it, I was thinking in my head that, it's a 7 cell, so I'll just do a 4 and a 3 and a 4 and a 3. But the way he has it wired, the 4 and a 3 were just 7. So all I got was 7 cells, right? Because I just made like a 30,000 milliamp battery that was 7 cells because he's got it wired in series. And so anyway, I ran the motor up and it just went. I called Shannon. I was like, oh, something's wrong with this. He came out and he's like, I don't think this has enough power on it. So anyway, we found out that it was set for 14 cells and I was running 7. So it was half the power that I needed. So we redid it and made it off of a 4-6 cell, 5,000 milliamp 6 cell. So
cool.
I can get about 5 minutes out of it. It's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
That's good
awesome.
flight time.
Well, yeah, it's not too bad. I can't imagine flying 20 or 30 minutes. I mean, it'd be kind of like, okay.
Yeah.
It's
not
cool
gonna
to see
happen.
planes that size electric.
Yeah. Yeah. That is kind of neat. What about you? Other than your Sukhoi, what other airplanes you've seen that's kind of excite you?
Those I don't know who it is that makes them, but the foam board ones, like that Concorde out there.
Okay, so that's Barrett, Hawk House, and those are all scratch built.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I knew.
Yeah.
They were here last year, I think, and I talked to him about it.
Yeah.
I just wasn't sure whose they were.
Yeah, Barrett has been on our podcast before. He's got a shop here in Scottsdale, and he makes those out of plans. Like he actually gets the plans from the Smithsonian, or he downloads the plans, and then he'll put them on the wall, and then he upscales them all and builds them.
Wow.
And he does it all out of foam, and carves the foam.
It's
And
impressive.
it is very impressive. That Concorde has flown several different times. I actually got to watch the maiden of the Concorde, and it was pretty exciting.
Yeah.
The nose droops down on it. Of course, he lost the nose today because it was drooping, and the wind got underneath it and tore
Yeah.
the. Yeah, it actually has a control horn that sits on the inside of it,
Yeah.
and as he tilted it down, it started putting pressure on the nose, and it pulled the control horn out of the foam. So that's really what happened. But the nose fell backwards, and he was flying around with the nose pointed in the other direction. So he wanted to continue flying, so he just taped it. And
Yeah.
then he's out flying around.
impressive.
It is impressive. It's for an EDF. So,
Oh, yeah.
and believe it or not, Shannon actually set up the electronics on it. So Shannon's pretty good about that, and getting all the engines synced and do all that stuff for multi-engine is kind of difficult. So, but it is very, very cool. We're excited to have you guys here. It is always fun to see our youth out flying, and I appreciate you joining me here. What kind of advice you have for those kids that want to get into the hobby? Call you.
Oh yeah, I can do that.
Obviously.
I have a couple planes to get rid of.
There you go. If you're looking for an airplane, give Wyatt a call.
I'd say start watching videos. There's a lot of people that we went off of that are super inspirational. You can find anybody on YouTube.
Yeah, sure.
But they help out so much. That's how I started with The Apprentice,
Right.
watching Brian Phillips.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
He started with The Apprentice, and it just went from there. It's an addiction.
Yeah, it is an addiction.
It's really awesome. But we started on Real Flight. I did Real Flight for a year before I touched The Apprentice.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I'm a
that
big
helps.
proponent of that as well.
Yeah.
I actually, the guy that kind of ran Real Flight, I'm friends with him as well, and he's been on our podcast before. His name is Jim, and he did a really good job with that, and took it to what it is today. And it's a fabulous tool, and that's a good suggestion. I mean, Wyatt's got a really good point there that we always suggested too. If you want to learn to fly, it's like $90 or $100 or something. You get the controller. And then I used to spend, I used to spend like 10 minutes every day, and I would do 3 takeoffs and landings to the left, 3 takeoffs and landings to the right, and then I would just go through the list of every airplane and just fly. So every airplane you got, I would do 3 and 3, and then I go to the next airplane, do 3 and 3, and then eventually, believe it or not, did you know there should be an F key? Did you know about the F key?
Remind me what it does.
So the F key stands for failure.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And so my buddy Jay, who's on the podcast, he and I used to hit. I would give him the keyboard. So when you guys are together, and he's flying on the sim, you take the keyboard, and then when he gets up and going around, hit the F key, and something will fly off the airplane.
Something will fly off, it'll break.
We did that.
Do you?
Yeah,
That's great.
But like sometimes when we can't fly, we'll pull up this airfield on Real Flight.
Yeah, that's right.
We'll go online and fly together.
That would be nice too.
We literally did that with the keyboard.
Yeah, you hit the F key, and then something will fall off, and then you have to challenge him to get back on the ground.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't get back on the ground in time, you hit the F key again, something else will fall off. So.
Yeah.
So my buddy Jay hit it about 3 times in a row, and I wound up with no wings, no prop, and half a rudder, and actually never made it back. So
We have an extra circling us.
we do. That's kind of cool.
Oh, he's
That's
upside down.
Oh, actually, believe it or not, that is not an extra, and I actually know that guy.
Okay, it looks
Oh,
like
it's
it from
upside
a
down
certain.
now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he's doing.
Yeah, he's ripping it.
Yeah, he's.
That's crazy. Spencer Nordquist, he flies out here with us. He's
Yeah.
really good. His buddy flies those, and he did that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Look at that. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, believe it or not, I do that as well.
I know you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool to watch.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty nifty.
That doesn't look real.
It
Yeah.
doesn't look real.
Oh,
Yeah.
there he goes.
However, I know who this is, and actually I just saw him last weekend. So that airplane is kind of unique on its own, but it is very cool that he's putting on a show for everybody. So
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, rather than crane our necks back there to see it, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. And thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
We always appreciate you guys. I think Wyatt's going to be on the podcast with us for the Arizona Electric Festival, or you have been so far, so that'll be good. And then, Matt, come back and see us anytime.
Yeah.
Right? That
Yeah.
good? You want to shake my hand?
Yeah, I got you.
It's got to be good. He can sort of like fist bump. He was kind of like, I don't know. All right. So Wyatt, Matt, they've joined us here at the Electric Festival. We always love to have them on there, back to the studio for you guys. And we'll join you back in the studio.
And we're back. It was amazing to hear all of the stuff that those guys had to say. I mean, the fact that Matt saw, Wyatt bring this stuff in school and then give him the bug. I hope Wyatt continues to do that, because
Definitely.
he definitely was like, Matt was responsible. I mean, Matt said, yeah, Wyatt brought me in, and I'm thinking, woohoo! I'm looking over there, I'm like, way to go,
I had to, when I was listening to him talk about it, I was just chuckling because, it just seemed really oddly familiar of one enabler to another
Well, hey,
in your
what
victims.
can I say?
And
It
getting
is.
them
It's
hooked,
like,
and getting that one
yes.
guy hooked
Yep.
on a plane that goes 100 miles an hour. Yeah.
I know. Well,
None of that. Hey, come on over. You can fly my Cub. Oh, I'm flying jets. Look at
yeah.
that. Shiny.
Yeah, and to be even honest, I got someone else coming over tonight. Actually, Scott's coming in tonight to to basically fly some
Oh, he's
turbines
got
with
it
me.
bad.
He does have it bad, so but I'm happy for him, and it's exciting to see. And he calls me and he's like, "Oh, I bought another airplane." So yes, you are correct. The enabler
Hi,
part
Scott.
of it.
Welcome to the group.
Yep, exactly. It's, RC Anonymous or RC Purchasers Anonymous. Anyway, it's exciting to see that they're Wyatt's getting kids in school involved, and it's good to see him get out and kind of do it. And Matt's really super excited, and he's a great pilot too.
For his age, I mean,
for his
both
age.
of them, they picked it up really well, and they fly safe. They're not just crazy, and they they get it. It's and Mike, Matt's dad, he kind of wrangles him too, because he's a kid, and kids have they get off on a certain little tangent, and Mike kind of brings them back in. So, but you wouldn't see that, at least you didn't see that when he was talking. He's focused, and I love to see that.
Focused. Yeah.
So you guys you guys didn't have to hear anybody yelling, "Hey, you kids, get down from 400!
Nope.
You're above 400 feet.
Nope.
Get down!"
No, because we had 1,200-foot level this year.
That's it. We had a really high ceiling.
Could have flown a glider. Nice.
Yeah, we could have. Well, we did. Mike, AK Mike, flew my my airplane, and
until it contacted the ground.
Until it came in contact with the ground. But and as alas, a new one is on its way. So I'm just waiting for that box to arrive. I don't know. I got to the point where I looked at it and the fuselage, I could probably fix it, but now I'm like, I'll just get a new one. They're on sale right now, so I just figured I'd grab it.
Maybe I'll fix it for you. How about that?
There you go. I can donate it to the club or something.
We'll give it. Well, no, we'll have one for you, and then we'll have one for AK Mike.
Oh, that's true. We could. AK Mike has his own. He usually brings it, but matter of fact, I have a tail sitting in the other room that we made for him, because every time he brings it, he forgets the tail. Because he takes it apart. But he didn't bring it this year. One of the things, jumping back to the boys, one of the things that unfortunately I don't think we chatted in the podcast about, or actually I can't remember, I don't think I got any footage of it either, but Saturday evening, Wyatt brought out a B-1 bomber, and it was new to him, and him and his dad were working on it. They got it all, kind of fixed up. I don't know if it was new or if they had bought it from someone or it was used, but anyway, he got it together, and I kid you not, Jay, he maidened this thing at dusk. I mean, I'm all about maiden stuff, but I do it in the middle of the day where I could see it. This kid was like so excited to fly it. Wyatt's like, yeah, let's go fly it right now. And it was light, but it was just getting to that dark phase, right?
And that also has one of those shapes that loves to
disappear. Blend in. Disappear.
It has a few lights though, but not enough.
It does, but still, I mean, it's a pretty big. Yeah, pretty big airframe, and just to maiden it as late in the day as he did, I was very impressed. Now, let me tell you, he took off, kept the wings out, and flew that thing amazing. It was amazing to watch him fly it. It looked great in the air. And then the very next morning, he brought it out again. As a matter of fact, I think he may have flown it for the news. I'm not right. Maybe he flew it before they got there.
He flew a couple times.
I know for the news, most of the news coverage was on the A-10s because all four of those guys had A-10s. And they got out in a little gaggle and flew for the news. But I think he may have flown it right as they were getting there or had landed. And he swept the wings and got the rolls in and did everything and landed it amazingly. So it was good to see him maidening airplanes as well. I know that's for someone that young, it's, they're all like, I'll give it a try. But he wasn't nervous, wasn't scared. He just was like, yeah, I can do this. So very confident flyer, very, very good. Makes us all look bad. I told him that in the podcast. I was like, man, you kids are making me look bad. I've been flying a long time.
If he won, I gave him best jet last year because he flew that Sukhoi and he flew it well. That's the thing. It's like I look for both. It's like, okay, what's there's a million Habus. Okay, there's a bunch of F-16s. What's different? Okay, the Sukhoi was different. Right. And he flew it like nobody's business. So, and then the B-1 too, if he did, and then So always looking for that cool stuff, especially from the kids.
They flew the A-10s real well. The kids were just ecstatic out there flying those things.
Well, the Elliot, my friend Craig's nephew, he had just bought that a couple the day before.
Yeah, he did. He got it the day before, and they were putting it together. And
you would not know it the way he flew it.
Matter of fact, I think he flew it for the first time on Saturday.
Yeah, exactly.
After event, actually, I think he flew it just right at the tail end of the event.
Yeah.
Because I know Craig was out there, kind of coaching him with it and telling him, "Hey, don't chop the power. Come on in," And then once he got, it's amazing to watch these kids. They're so quick at picking things up, but they. Basically he flew it once and then he was like, "Okay, you're good to go." And I was just like, dang, he was out there ripping it up.
Yeah. So, and he got a good deal on it too. I mean, for that plane, you've got one. You've got one.
I do. So I think that was the 70 millimeter one. I got the big 80.
No, that was a
was it the big one?
A10. Yeah. Craig had the smaller. Craig
had the smaller one. Okay. Yeah. I knew there was a smaller one involved in there somewhere, but yeah, he got a smoking deal. And was super excited. Craig was like, over there talking to us while he was that kid flew battery after battery after battery after battery. I mean, nice. Elliot was like at the stand as soon as they said, "Okay, we're all going to eat pizza." He was over there by himself, just doing like what we do. When we go out, we just battery after battery. So he was getting better and better every time. So the fact that they got to fly for the news media and talk to the lady, it was a really great time for them. They were. I
was kind of bummed, I think we both had put away our T-28s.
We did.
And I was like, because I didn't know for sure if they were coming out. And I was actually kind of surprised because I kind of said, well, there might not be enough people here, but obviously it worked out for the best. So,
and I think focusing on the kids is a better deal anyway, because it may get other kids involved, even if they're not, watching the news probably.
How was the crowd this year?
It was pretty good.
On Saturday, we had a really good crowd on Saturday. We had because we have our noon show and the stands were full for that, and they stuck around afterwards, and we had a few people come back for the night fly. So we parked for the weekend. We parked 112 cars, which is good for we don't have them. We're not parking 300-400 cars like we used to back in the day when there was nothing going on but our event.
Right.
But we definitely, and we had a tough weekend because we had here in the Valley just alone it was the Waste Management Phoenix Open, which I usually try to avoid, and we had the Renaissance Festival. There was a race. There was a science expo. I said a couple of quinceañeras probably, who knows, but we had a lot to compete with, and I still think we had one of the best years. And
Barrett
really
Jackson.
Missed you, Jay. Barrett Jackson. Well, that was a couple weeks before, so we're good with that. But yeah, it was just I was so happy with that weekend that it just I can't wait for the next one and see what we can do to make it better.
Yeah, we looked out too because the Buckeye Airfare is usually what bites into our group.
Yeah,
and I'm being on the opposite, and it was the next weekend, so that was good for us as well. That a lot of those guys that normally go out there were able to show up here.
Yep.
So, but it was really good. I think when the news media came out that year on a Thursday when Ali and I flew everybody, everybody kind of flew their airplanes. I think we got way more exposure this year. The news was kind of trickling through, and so on Saturday morning or Sunday morning when we were getting ready to, matter of fact, I was taking my T-28 apart to put it in the trailer, and a couple people walked up and they're like, "Hey, is the event going on? What's the story? We saw it on the news." And I was like, "You did? When?"
Yeah, well, it's just Channel 3, Channel 5 came out on Thursday, actually on Friday, and did a piece. It just didn't run
like it did the year prior.
Yeah, they ran it kind of late, and then it was very sporadic, and but I'm glad they still ran it. So I'm not.
We're not complaining.
I'm glad Hector came out and was able to do it for us. But it wasn't as much as I thought it was going to be, and I think maybe not as much as Hector thought it was going to be. But again, there's so much going on; it's hard to. They got to squeeze it in.
Well, and the more times they come out like this, the good news is that next year, if they get a bug in their ear that you're going to be out, hey, this week we're going to be out. Why don't you come out Friday? Or why don't you come out Thursday?
I send out a press release. Actually, I send it out twice. I do once like in January, and then literally like the week of the event, and then I usually get that's when I get my a couple bites. And I kind of hope they all alternate. I don't expect all of them to come out the same.
But just the more they come out, and the more exposure you get.
Yeah.
I think it's just going to be. just one of those things. The earlier they can come out and do it, the better.
Personally,
it is
I think it should be on the History Channel or ESPN, like full live event coverage the
There
whole
you go,
weekend.
live
But
event.
what are you going to do?
Live Arizona Electric Festival coverage.
Yeah, I mean, we're here at the Arizona Electric Festival.
Well, what you need is those great kids and having them do stuff live.
Or Tyler Perry to show up.
Yeah, Tyler Perry to bring in there. We should invite him.
Tyler Perry and Jeff. If we get Tyler Perry and Jeff Dunham, then we can make it. So
There
I got to work on that. Yeah.
Get those guys coming out.
Yeah.
Actually, Jay, that's a good segue as well. I mean, the short time we have left over, but both of those guys have expressed interest in getting more involved, and I think that at some point we should do that. We should get them out at the field or let them, kind of do some shorts or whatever to
Sure.
kind of get more kids involved. So we would love to have that, and I've talked to both of them about it. So we're gonna kind of address that probably this spring and get them headed that way. So we're excited about that. Unfortunately, our time is up. We really enjoy having you back. We did miss you. AK Mike kind of slid in there, and we appreciated him and Wyatt for both filling in during the Electric Festival. It was a great event. I think we've got a couple new ones. I think next weekend or this weekend is actually, when this comes out, it will have already happened. But we have Speed World Jet Rally coming up.
That's
and
right.
then we have Warbirds and Classics, I think, in March that's coming out. So later this month, weekend or two. I think this episode comes out on the 4th. So I think 2 weeks we'll have the Warbirds and Classics. So I think it's on the 13th, 14th, 15th, I think, of March.
Yeah.
We should be out there.
Are we going? You and me?
I'm probably going to be there. I think Scott's coming down.
Okay.
So yeah, we should. I did bid that time off.
I'll put it on my calendar.
We'll try to have the 13th, or have the 14th, 15th off, I think. So we'll have
Gotcha.
to do it. But at least give us the Friday, Saturday days. I have those off. So it's good news. So yeah, we'll try to get that done, and then we'll get some more events that are coming up. I think it's kind of cool to go to.
Got
these
Gunsmoke. Gunsmoke's coming up.
Gunsmoke's coming up as well.
And we've got an IMAC competition. Actually, this week we have our Superstition Pattern Classic F3B. And we have a auction, not auction, raffle. Swap meet. Swap meet.
Yeah, swap meet, raffle, auction. It's all the same.
Yeah. Well, we actually do have a raffle because it's a club meeting. So.
Right, exactly.
But no, we're actually having a swap meet. One of the club members came to us and said, "Hey, we have the auction. Can we have a swap meet?" I'm like, "You plan it, you schedule it, you run it."
Yeah, right. You move the tables.
Yeah.
It's whatever you want.
Yeah.
It to be.
So
whatever.
And
I'm bringing my computers.
Oh, please. Not that.
Yeah, Mike, you can bring those tires.
Yeah,
that you wanted to get rid of.
That's it. Before we go, real quick, did you have any comment, Jay, on the new 3D printed racers? Did you get to see any of that or hear any of that?
I just looked up some stuff and maybe saw a couple of short clips. But I didn't really
get.
Okay.
We'll touch base on that on the next go around since we're out of time. But yeah, that's kind of a new thing, and oh my gosh, it was pretty awesome. So we talked about it on our last podcast, but I think it's worth another go around to a little research and see that once we all have. Well, we have 3D printers. So. But anyway, all right, we're out of here. I'm Michael from Arizona.
And Jay from the hills of Texas.
And Shannon G in Mesa AZ.
We'll see ya in 2 weeks.
Let's fly.
You have been listening to the Park Flyer Podcast. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to your next visit. Please give our show a star rating and review, and feel free to email us your questions, topics, or suggestions to parkflyerpodcast@gmail.com.